Live from the Sabish Studios, it's In the Den! Joining us live is...
This is Miss Buchholz.
This is Mr. Enke. We're going to be talking about all things phones,
including your favorite apps. It's our special technology edition.
Good morning, Sabish School. We are back in the den.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I hope everyone's had a good 2 weeks. We did just want to highlight some awesome stuff that happened in the last 2 weeks. We started our forward testing. I think it's been great how everyone's been quiet in the halls and respectful of the testing areas. So we hope all kids are trying their best. It's hard to read all that stuff, but without reading all the questions and answers, you're likely not to get it right. So we hope you're taking your time on it.
I'd like to say there's been a great improvement on snacks in the hallway. I haven't seen nearly as much, so our last video, you guys must have been paying attention to a little bit of it, so we appreciate that. Keep up the good work.
Yep, thank you. We had an April Fool's prank last week, though. Some people might know about it, some might not, but it actually leads into what we want to talk about today, and that's just to bring up the topic of cell phones once again. So,
always a big issue, always a controversial issue. Some kids wish they could have their cell phones on them all the time. There's certain reasons why we don't allow that. And so we're going to go over the school rules and then some of the things that can derive from having your cell phones on you. So.
What is the rule in regards to cell phones at Sabish?
Phones should be in your locker, off position. They should not be on you at any time. What I'm disappointed in is people seem to be taking that a little more seriously during Wisconsin Forward, because I've had so many phones stashed in my satchel. I think I'm getting cramps in my shoulder. But really, I just wish everyone followed that rule all the time. So we don't need testing to have that rule come into effect.
Another thing with the phones that I notice is, a lot of people are really upset about the hood rule, but then what they're doing is concealing AirPods or headphones in their ears. And if they're that concerned about the hood rule, maybe we could do something with that, but we can't if it keeps on getting abused by concealing the AirPods or whatever and listening to music on your phone.
Right, because we do allow you to have hoods on in the classroom, but that could be taken away then if you're trying to hide things. So we hope you can just follow the rules so everyone can enjoy the needs that they have and can move on with their day.
Why do teachers get to have cell phones then?
We have a system that if you kids need to see us or talk to one of us, we prefer the teacher text us. That way, if we're available, we can come down and answer your question or come talk to you through a need. But we want to do that so we're not calling into the classroom and disrupting your classroom. Kids aren't just running down to the office without passes, and then we don't know if they have permission. So we have a pretty good system. We will have our cell phones out. And I have advice to you, if you want your cell phone out when you're an adult, become a teacher or a principal, and you can have your cell phone out anytime you want in school.
Or a police officer.
Or a police officer.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with cell phones too is just to make sure that even if you have it on you, sometimes you'll have it on you by accident. You walk into the building and it's on you. It's in your back pocket or in your hoodie or wherever that may be. But when a teacher says, please go put it in your locker, just put it in your locker. It's very simple. You don't have to go any farther than that. Put it in your locker. That's all we're asking.
And I think if at some point we got 100% compliance on the cell phone rule, which is a lofty goal, I know, but then maybe we could put in some sort of benefits, like maybe as a reward or something like that, you'd be able to have this cell phone time. But we're not anywhere close to that right now because there's just so much abuse of it.
Right.
I think it goes with the headphones too. There's a lot of headphones in the hallway. I kind of like to see those headphones go away too, because it just kind of makes you want to use your cell phone even more for hiding. Caught a few of you this week with your headphones on, your hoods on, or you have very long hair, girls, and you're able to hide that. So if you don't have the headphones, you don't have a phone, it's all in your locker, we should be good.
So what I did is actually I went out and I got a special street reporter, and I just wanted to find out what kind of apps and what things that people are doing on their phones. So we're going to go to a clip of that right now.
Okay.
Hey, what up, people? We're back out here at Sabish Middle School. We're going to be asking people, interviewing people, what they do on their phones. And so what are things that you like to do on your phone?
Text people and Snapchat.
On Instagram and text you and ISIS.
Yeah. Post on Instagram.
What else?
Send streaks on Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
Sophia, your face.
What are things that you like to do on your phone?
Watch YouTube.
And what else?
and do TikToks.
I like to text people on Snapchat.
That's
Okay,
good.
that's it. And play games.
I like to use Snapchat. I like to play Helix Jump even though I'm really bad at it. I like to watch YouTube and be obnoxious to people. I watch YouTube on my phone. I play on Snapchat, text people, and play Fortnite on it. My favorite app to use on my phone is Snapchat. Mine is Instagram.
Wow, it looks like we got a lot of different things that people like to do on their phone. That's interesting. Well, that's Jahida out. Peace.
So because we have so many different kind of cell phone laws, there's a lot of areas in it, there's actually going to be an extended version of today's Law of the Week, and I actually went out and found a specialist in that field. So here's an interview right now. Officer Williams here with Officer Brown. We're going to talk a little bit about cell phone technology and apps today. First off, I want to let you know that Officer Brown here is our technology specialist at the Fond du Lac Police Department. So he knows everything there is to know about cell phones, technology, apps, and what we do as a police department with these things. I think the one thing that my students want to know is really, like, what do they need to be careful on some of the apps that they're on?
Well, the one thing that I try to encourage people to be safe on and to protect themselves is just how much data that they're giving away. When we look at each other face to face, if someone comes to you and starts asking you what you had for breakfast, what your name is, who your family members are, just randomly walk up to you on the street, we won't share and divulge that type of information. But for some reason, once we get online, we're not that protective of our personal information. We are willingly sharing our location, what time we leave, our schedules, who we know, and that's the biggest issue that I think that we run into, all of us, but including you guys. I feel that we are sharing too much about our personal information and letting too many people in, and it compromises your safety for sure.
So one thing I tell my students is that I just want them to know that everything on your phone we can have access to. And a lot of them think that if they delete it or something like that, that it just goes away forever. And they don't believe me when I say, no, we can usually get access to that information. Tell me about that.
Well, absolutely. So when we look at our phone specifically, there's a lot of times where someone may delete some of their data on their phone, a picture, a message that they sent or something like that. But there's a couple of different ways that we're able to get it. So one, I mean, just simple, without your phone, wherever you sent it to, their phone, they may not have deleted it. So that's one thing that we're able to use our investigative skills and go and look at the other person's phone and see what was sent to them. But also on their phone, we use technology to look at these devices. So I call it a universal forensic evidence device. I actually have it right over there, and what we use that for is we actually recover deleted data. I've had phones where someone deleted all their pictures, all their messages, and I've recovered over 5,000 deleted text messages off of someone's phone. I've recovered over 10,000 deleted pictures off their phones using our recovery of evidence device. So a lot of times we're able to get that data off of those phones and those devices, but even with the phone, someone may say, you know what, I'm going to smash my phone up. I'm going to throw it in a water. And, you know, something like that could work if the data was stored on that device. But where is that data stored nowadays? It's not really on your phone. It's in someone's server, TikTok server, Snapchat server, Facebook server. So what I need to do is go directly to the source, because we do that in the first place. I may use your phone to look and see the initial stuff, but I know going in that data could be deleted. So a lot of times if it's a serious case that we need to work on, we're going to go directly to the source and get a full record from that server.
So sometimes what I find is what starts out as something innocent, or maybe like a boyfriend and a girlfriend sending pictures that might be inappropriate, and they're underage. What can that lead to?
Well, you know, that's a huge issue that we run into. Unfortunately, we belittle the seriousness of those types of things. The students and you guys sometimes think that maybe I just don't like this girl, or I don't like this boy, and I want to embarrass my friend that maybe we've fallen out for some reason. So I'm going to go and share his picture, her picture of them that they sent to their boyfriend or girlfriend. Somehow it came to me, and you know what? I think this is funny that they have this naked picture floating around. So I go and send it out. You go and send it out. That's not making fun of someone. That's not embarrassing them. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing is distributing child pornography.
And it's actually a felony offense.
Yeah.
for doing that, and there's actually a special statute called revenge porn. But just simply possessing it in itself is also a crime.
So so one person you go and do one thing. Let's say I give you a scenario. The picture goes to Johnny. Johnny goes and sends the picture to his friend. Johnny decides also that he's going to show this image on his phone to another one of his underage friends. A lot of crimes is happening in that time span. So possession, he intentionally possessed that image. That's 3 years in prison minimum. You can get your best lawyer. You get charged with possession of child pornography. The best that they can do is 3 years in prison. It's not a laughing matter. They didn't send that picture to someone else. That's distribution of child pornography. You're looking at around 7 years prison time for distribution of child pornography. And then on top of that, you have exposing a child to harmful materials. You showed that image to another underage person. You showed them harmful materials. So you're looking at another criminal offense right there. So just in that one act of what they think is a funny joke, that person is really committing some serious crimes. And that's the issue that we are dealing with, that we don't understand the seriousness of these actions.
So another app I'd like to touch on is TikTok. Very popular app. It's a fun app. I use it myself. It's pretty fun. But there are some dangers associated with that. What have you seen?
So a lot of the dangers that are associated with TikTok is the predators. The predators go to these different apps that they find that younger and younger kids find popular. So once they find out the apps like TikTok that there's a lot of kids on, these kids start emulating the actions of older teens and adults. And they start doing inappropriate sexual activities. And then you have direct messaging and talking. That's where they meet these friends. And then from there, you have these guys preying on these kids and taking them to other apps where now they're being asked for inappropriate images. The fun aspect of TikTok, great, they want to have fun in there. It's what happens after that, where these inappropriate relationships are formed, and that's what the issue is: the inappropriate relationships with adults and the inappropriate actions and videos that are being made that are sexually graphic and things like that. That's where a real issue comes into play, and that's where, as young teenagers, I ask that you guys protect yourselves, that you're not putting yourselves in situations where, again, just take yourself out of the social media realm and put yourself in a real world application. If that person that you don't know came to you and asked you to make a video of yourself doing inappropriate things, or taking pictures of yourself and striking up random conversations, you wouldn't do it. So don't do the same thing on TikTok or on social media.
And you gotta remember, on Snapchat, there's always that screensaver option. There's tons of apps that can save snaps. They're not just going away. They're out there somewhere. Once you send it, or once you take that picture, it's out there. Someone could have access to it, even if it's just on your phone. So you gotta be very careful about that. Another thing I just wanna touch on is the last thing, is talking about Snapchat conversations and stuff like that. What we've been getting is a lot of harassing, saying I'm gonna beat you up, or I'm gonna do this, or threats made online. Are there any repercussions that could come through the law, through those kind of actions?
Well, absolutely. It's going to be a case-by-case basis, but at the same time, a threat is a threat. Harassment is harassment. And I know that we try to put it under this umbrella of bullying. Well, I was being bullied. Well, at the end of the day, I want us to stop belittling these serious actions by calling everything bullying. Okay? Because at the end of the day, and this is for those of you who are having this happen to you, I will not, and I know Officer Williams will not belittle what's happening to you and just say that it's bullying. Because if the same thing happened to an adult, it wouldn't be bullying. If all of a sudden someone comes in, stuffs you in a locker, hits you, or you're online and there's video on Snapchat of this, and then all of a sudden delete it, someone's not going to just simply say, hey, that happened to Officer Williams and that was just bullying. No, that's false imprisonment. That is harassment. That is stalking, because you messaged me saying you were going to do this. You followed me until you found me. You had people record me, and then you attacked and assaulted me. Those are things that are happening. You weren't bullied. You were assaulted, and threats were made against you, and that's how we will see it. So absolutely, we will go after it based on the crimes that have been committed, and we will look at it as serious as it needs to be.
I'd like to thank Officer Brown for his time. That's a lot of information. Just be careful out there what you're posting and what you're doing online, because it all can be traced. And I'll be honest, I don't want to see all them pictures, so don't take them.
All right, have a good one.
And now it's time for Fridley's forecast.
Fridley's forecast in the next couple weeks. We have spring break coming up on April 19th to the 23rd. You will come back on April 24th. We will have school.
It's a Wednesday, right?
It's a
So they
Wednesday,
come back on a Wednesday.
kind of the middle of the week. Also that week, which is an important day, is April 25th is our school dance. That'll be from 6 to 7:30. Make sure you have a school ID with you.
And I think it's a Hawaiian theme.
Hawaiian theme, yes. Aloha. Also, track will continue. Practice 3:15 to 4:30. Big reminder, end of track is at 4:30. Make sure you have a ride. There's no hanging out after school. You're gonna need a ride to get home right away.
I think I heard Boys and Girls Club is done on April 15th. So we only have one more week of Boys and Girls Club being here, if anyone was wondering about that. So that's good news. They're able to go back to their home base. It's all fixed from the flooding.
That's great. So that's kind of the forecast in the next couple weeks, and hope you have a good break.
So just a reminder to all of our students, we hope you can be respectful,
Be responsible.
Be safe in the den.